Are we good to go, Jill?
Are going right along. So yes, I just want to say hello to everyone who is joining us this evening for a chat with the chief. And if you are needing translation, we have Lupe, who is going to be providing translation for us. We also have closed captioning. If you have any questions and you've joined us in the chat, or put your questions into the chat feature of Zoom. And if you're joining us on Facebook, we will be monitoring your questions and comments there, and we'll be answering them throughout the evening. So right now, I'm going to send it over to Lupe and let you talk to your audience.
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Si usted tiene alguna pregunta, por favor, use la función de chat y nosotros con gusto le contestamos sus preguntas. Muchísimas gracias. I'll turn it over to you, Chief.
Why, thank you. And if you're viewing out there, you've noticed that we do have a guest tonight. This is Lieutenant Jeff Nix. Jeff has been in this community for many years, has raised his family here. So I'm certain that most of the people watching probably recognize Jeff right when he came on. So I'm gonna, we have a few things I want to talk about tonight, just to pass on information. And then Jeff, we're gonna have Jeff talk about the CERT team, which he is trying to get going. And then we'll answer any questions that you have tonight. So first, just like to let Jeff just take a minute to introduce himself for those of you who might not know him.
Well, thank you, Chief, and thank you for having me on tonight. This is I guess it's been a long-awaited invite. I'm surprised that it's taken this long for you to invite me to come on, but I'm relishing in the time I have here. So thank you. Anyhow, yeah, as the Chief said, I've been in this community since 1986. I'm a transplant from Southern California and came up here to play baseball at Sonoma State University and was very first 30-game winning team at Sonoma State. They hadn't won 30 games since the baseball. But when I came here, not that I am the cause of that 30-game win season, but that's my claim to fame at Sonoma State baseball. And I'm married to my wife Kimberly for 33 years, and we've raised our 5 children here in the community, going to local schools, and just love Rohnert Park, and came to work for the city of Rohnert Park in 1999. And prior to that, I worked for Sonoma State University for 5 years at the Sonoma State University Police Department. And so I've had held positions, gosh, throughout the agency, you know, whether it's patrol officer and detective and firefighter and engine training officer, detective sergeant, training sergeant, canine supervisor, defensive tactics instructor, supervisor, patrol lieutenant, fire battalion chief, and gosh, that's if we had more time, I'd probably go into a little bit more detail on all the things that I've been able to do. But it's just been a great career that I've been able to spend here, and with the awesome people that we work with, and raising my family here in Rohnert Park. It's just been a great blessing to me and my family.
All right, thank you. When are you going to stop like riding that 30-game win streak? I mean, it's at some point you got to move on, Jeff.
You know, when they play, they now play like 45, 50, 60 games. So they win 30 games every year now. But I probably won't give it up. So yeah, that's all I got.
Well, good. So throughout the evening tonight, Jill, Jeff is going to help answer some of these questions. As you know, in our department, we have a structural system, a chain of command, and Jeff is one of the 4 lieutenants. He's one of 2 lieutenants assigned to the law enforcement side of the agency. So he is definitely has a much closer work relationship with what's going on out in the street. And so some questions that come in tonight I may ask Jeff to answer them because they don't let me out of the office all the time. So well, you'll be hearing from both of us tonight. I did want to start out tonight with some really exciting news. This has been in the works, and it's been coming for a while. But the Community Roundtable, if you recall, back in August of last year, the city manager, Darren Jenkins, and I came to council at the request of council to address one of their new priorities, which was police accountability and police community relations. And so we came back with 9 recommendations. One of those recommendations was this Community Roundtable. And so I'm really happy to say that there's been a lot to go into this to get it ready, but we are going to start that Community Roundtable. And so the application process is open. And you can go online, you can go on to our website, the public safety website, and you can just put City of Rohnert Park /public safety, and it'll take you right there. There's a button over on the right-hand side. It says Community Roundtable. Click on it. Big description of the roundtable, what we're looking for, and then there's it should answer all your questions, and then the application is right there. You just click on apply, fill it out, submit it, and we'll do the rest. So the Community Roundtable, the idea behind this is that we have a very diverse community here in Rohnert Park, and we want to make sure that we're providing the highest level of service to everybody in the community. And we don't always hear from some of our diverse groups. Sometimes they don't feel like they have a voice, or they just don't have a platform to let me know what's going on. And so the idea behind this is to create this roundtable with a diverse group of individuals and give them a voice. Let them speak directly to me. Let this group come in and tell me what we're doing, where we're missing the point, where we're not doing a good job. How can we improve? How can we provide a better service to their population? And then work to figure those solutions out. So it really is, we're trying to bridge this gap, communication gap, where we're just maybe not reaching everybody. And, I always said, in order to get better, we've got to find out what we're not doing right. So really looking forward to got something on my getting this group together. So as I said, the application is open right now, and you can go on there. We put it on Facebook. We've sent it out. It'll be going out. You'll see flyers and businesses and in windows all over. There's a QR code. If you want with your phone, you can just scan the QR code. It'll take you directly to that same page, that application page. And just so everybody knows that I'm not trying to create a community roundtable or panel that's just going to tell me what I want to hear. I am not going to be involved in the selection process of the members, nor is the city manager or the city council. We truly want this to be an empowered panel who feels comfortable coming in. So there'll be a separate selection committee outside my agency or the city who's going to select those members to sit on the panel. And we're also bringing in an outside facilitator to help just make sure that we're focusing in these meetings and we're getting work done. Because we don't want to waste anybody's time who is willing to come up and give their time. We want to make it valuable. So I'm really, really excited about this process. I've wanted to have a community-based forum like this for a long time. And I'm excited to hear from the community so that we can figure out how to continue to get better. I know in my heart that we have a great agency here. We have great personnel, both sworn and non-sworn. Our professional staff is amazing, but we can all get better all the time. So if you're interested, find a flyer, hit the QR code. It's on our Facebook. We sent out a nixle today. It's on our homepage for the Public Safety Department. It's on the city page. And if you can't find it, email me directly and I will send you the link personally. So if you have any questions about it, just let me know. We'll try to answer whatever we can during this hour. Please, if you're interested, let us know. We'll get you in that application process. I do see one chat. Let me make sure it's not for this. Okay, will it be a good idea to put some cameras on some of the walking and running trails? I mean, I can honestly say that if we could afford it, I'd have a camera on every business, every street corner, every creek path there is. It's a great deterrent and it's a great investigative tool. And I think it helps protect, our public. It's just, there are some issues, some people will complain about privacy, but I still think cameras are a great asset to any city. But we just have to figure out what we can afford and where we can put them. So yes, would it be a good idea? It would probably be something that would be a good idea. You have to do it right though, because those creek paths are highly treed and there'd probably be some vision obscurements that we would have to think about. But anything that increases the safety of our community is never a bad idea. I hope I answered that question. Did want to remind everybody that it is back to school. All of the Rohnert Park public schools started today. Some started a little bit earlier, but I'd say 95% of the schools were in session. Today is our first day. We always love the first day of school because kids are so excited to be back. And so Lieutenant Nix was one of the people who I tasked and asked to make sure that we had a public safety person at every school today. There are a lot of schools in Rohnert Park and I don't always have that many working, but I know he worked with his sergeants and his staff to get officers at every possible school this morning and greet the kids and just show our commitment to the staff there and the parents dropping off their kids that one of our jobs is to make sure they're safe when they're at school. The other thing that I know Jeff is working with the other lieutenant and his staff is to make sure that our officers are getting through the schools during their normal patrol times. Go have a lunch with them when they're on breaks, get out there, meet the kids. We have one school resource officer who can't be at every school. So we want to make sure that we are getting our personnel out there on the campuses and making sure those campuses are safe. And also making sure that the kids see us in a good light and get to meet the officers under great conditions. So the other reason I brought back school is we're going to ask that you just be a little bit more vigilant on the roads. In the morning and after school, there are a lot of kids out walking, crossing streets, parents. And so we just ask, leave a little bit earlier, take a little bit more time. Nothing can be that important that, you're risking your safety or the safety of these students as they're trying to get to and from school. So just drive carefully out there, please. See another comment. Let's see. Please share. Ooh. Please share with us what are the top 5 problems not letting you sleep.
Stress. My dog barking at night.
Yeah, just when you run in a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day department, you can't be there all the time. And so, you put your trust in your command staff and that structure that's in place. But when I'm not here and I'm home and, the things I worry about at 2 o'clock in the morning is, I just don't want that major incident that is going to end in a loss of life for anybody, for someone from the public or someone, on your staff. The worst phone call you could ever get is that, you just lost a staff member. And, when I get called in the middle of the night and I'm told that, we just had a shooting and we have there's one deceased, I just think about, the victim's family and how that's going to affect them. And so anticipating those phone calls is definitely keeps me up. In fact, when I am laying in, sound sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning and my phone rings or I get a text and it dings, I my thought is, what am I going to see on the face of that phone? What am I waking up to? So that's stressful. You know, there's at least for me, you know, I feel like you know, the city council has priorities, and the city council, you know, has their goals that they want to reach. And, you know, I spend some sleepless days trying to figure out how to make that happen. And am I doing it right? Are we headed in the right direction? You know, I always, you know, making sure that we're being, you know, really good financial stewards of the public funds that we have to run this department. You know, when you're buying, you know, you got a fire engine that goes down, and, you know, it's a $750,000 piece of equipment. You know, the trying to figure out how we're going to get a new fire engine, or a new fire truck, or, you know, new police cars. And then I'd say that one of the other things is there just seems to be so much new legislation and mandates out there that we're having to police within. And I'm not saying that the legislation is bad, but it's a constant changing and evolution. And so you're constantly trying to come up with, you know, ways to you know, get those new legislations in and get the training in, and making sure that all 78 officers are on the same page, and they all understand Miranda or searches or what you can and can't do. So because the one thing that I can tell you is, at 2 o'clock in the morning, if one of my officers makes a horrible mistake, and, you know, just goes off, I'm responsible for that. That's my mistake, right? Yeah, they made the mistake, but they work for me, and I should have made sure that they had the training and the understanding and the direction to not make that mistake. So I would say one of the things that keeps me awake a little bit at night is that there's a lot of stuff that's just not in my control. And you know, I always tote myself as someone who really understands that not to worry about the stuff I can't control, really concentrate on the stuff I can control. But that one does keep me up at night, because that could be devastating, have devastating effects for a lot of people. So those are probably the things that keep me up at night. Jeff, the 27, 28 years, and I mean, what's keeping you up at night?
You know, it's a lot of the same things that keep you up at night, Chief, keep me up as well. You know, one of my responsibilities is overseeing patrol operations Monday through Thursday, and that's 24 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. And so even though my schedule dictates that I'm here from 8 to 6 on Monday, 1 to 11 on Tuesday and Thursdays, my phone rings, you know, at all hours of the night, depending on what the need of the patrol sergeants are. And sometimes that call in the middle of the night is just to give me a heads up that they're working a specific type of case, but that I can be that resource for them, and they can find that, hey, if they call me for any reason, I'm going to assist them and give them an answer. One of the other things that I lose sleep over is hiring and retaining our great employees. You know, it seems like it's systemic now. Everyone in law enforcement seems to be hiring, but what used to be a recruitment of 250 people is now, you know, 20. And so it's finding those people that are willing to make the commitment to do this job is difficult. And in fact, we have an open recruitment right now for our January police academy in 2023, and we currently have we're supposed to have a test on Sunday, and we currently have 6 applicants for that position, and there's 5 positions open for that recruitment. And just to know that we have so few applicants is a little mind-boggling, and also in that same breath is trying to retain the officers that we do have, that either want to go seek employment someplace else, or they're retired, that they're creating retirements. Those are things that, we're always trying to fill the holes that we have. And so playing that perpetual game of catch up is always something difficult. I look at the youth of our agency, or and maybe the lack of tenure in our agency is something that is, creates a little added measure of stress, even though we hire quality people. And I would let them, I would risk my life for them as they would for me. And but knowing that, their lack of tenure is just of concern. It's not something that, I trust them 100%, but we have a young police force out there, and fire division. It's young public safety officers. And again, this is systemic. It's not just Rohnert Park. It's all over the country. And then, Chief, I've taken a strong interest in the overall wellness of our department. And when I see people struggle, whether it's professionally or personally, and how do we fulfill that need for them so they are good when they come to work, and are we creating that environment here at work so that helps with that work-life balance? And so those are some of the things that concern me and kind of keep me motivated, but they certainly weigh on me at times.
Yeah, I think that you hit on some good points there. Just the staffing alone. When you're, we used to have 100 applicants for every one position that we were recruiting for, and when you get people, because of retirements or injuries, and you're losing staff like that, and you're not recruiting them at the same pace, that just puts stress on the whole agency, because the community has an expectation that we will deliver the service, and whether we have 100 officers or 20 to deliver it, we have to deliver the same service. So, some definitely keeps you up at night trying to figure out how am I going to staff the streets, and make sure that we have our full staffing and not burn out the officers that we have while we're waiting to get these new officers in. So yeah, that was a great question. Thank you. That's one I would have liked ahead of time, because that would have been a great one to really kind of sit down and chew on for a little bit, because there's no real one answer. And then I actually had on my list, so I'm going to jump to it now. Jeff talked about the wellness, and Jeff has been amazing since I got here and learned about it. He's been amazing at the wellness portion, understanding that this job can take a toll on people. You see some stuff in here that it's hard to get out of your brain, and that's causes stress and all kinds of problems. So he put together a lot of wellness stuff. We do the wellness program. We recently got the Cortico app, which has been really great for our staff to be able to go on there and have immediate access to just someone to talk to if they come across a critical incident. There's relaxation stuff. So the app's been very good. In addition to the wellness we got, we have the weight room down there, because we know that fitness is 100% tied to mental wellness. And then just today, we have been working, and we finally got it in place today. A system, it's called Roulette. It's a virtual reality system that is to bring down the blood pressure, bring people down, give them 10 minutes of stress-free time to just try to kind of get them refocused, recentered. And so we're excited. We had the preview today. We've got the headsets now. And so we're going to start using those, and our staff can use them before work. They can use them after work, or if something happens out there, they just need a 10-minute break, they can use them during work. So definitely really trying to address the mental health aspect of our personnel, so that, we get the longevity out of them, and they want to stay in this profession. And so that was a great point you brought up about, about that, Jeff, because that's really important.
Chief, and I think it's important that, as we go on these calls for service, there's an expectation that our community has that we're going to give them everything that we have, and and handle their situation with care, with quality service. And if we are not, at 100%, the expectation is that they're getting an officer that's at 100%. So I think it's, we owe it to our staff to give them every tool that we have. This virtual reality is such a new technology to be brought into the wellness realm, especially for law enforcement. And we are one of I think we're the only ones in Sonoma County that have this. And I think this is the cutting edge type stuff that we are getting ahead of this and we're able to provide this for our staff. So I'm super, super excited that we've been able to go down this road and look at things like this and to see the benefit that it's going to create for our staff. And this is sworn and non-sworn staff too, because we have the women that work the front counter, or dispatchers, or record property, and all of us bring our own stresses into our job, let alone the stress of our job, and this is something that we can do proactively to help lessen that stress. So I think it's going to be great.
Absolutely. We have a comment actually. The individual writes, "We just want all police, new and old members, to have an inclusive mentality considering the minority demographics in Rohnert Park." You know what? I have that same expectation. That no doubt. We talk in the agency all the time about, but just back to basics policing, which is it really is about professionalism, respect, dignity, treating people fairly, no judgment. So yeah, your expectation is my expectation. And that's, when we talk about the community roundtable, that's one of the reasons that roundtable is so important. Because I feel like, our agency is very respectful, very professional. I get very few concerns from the public on things said by our officers or their actions. In fact, I normally get people commenting on their professionalism and how respectful they were and how helpful they were. So that expectation is both of ours. But the community roundtable, one of the things I want to know is because, a lot of it's about cultural diversity too, is we're somewhat ignorant to some of the cultural expectations of some of our diverse communities. And, the last thing I want to do is come out as disrespectful because I did something that means something else in that with that diverse group, or I said something, right? So part of this community roundtable is going to be a learning experience for us, so people can tell us, hey, when you come to the house, if don't do this. This really sets us off, or this doesn't go well in our culture. Can you do this? And so some of that is not only, hey, tell us what we're doing right and wrong, but also tell us how we can do it better, and how we can embrace and understand your culture better, so that we're all on the same page, and we're not coming off as disrespectful because we don't know. So thank you for that comment, and absolutely know that my expectation, and we talk about it all the time, is the highest level of professionalism and respect to every member of the community or anybody we come across. So, all right. Wanted to really quick talk about a system that we have been kind of breaking in. It's been out there for a couple weeks now, and it's called QHIT. it's not necessarily built as a satisfaction or survey system, but that is built in. So one of the things that at least I believe that we were missing the mark on was, let's say you're the victim of a theft. Let's say you come home from vacation and your house is burglarized. You call the police, we come out there and we take a report, and then we leave. And you don't have any follow-up with this, or if we have follow-up questions, we'll call you, but we've taken a report, written a report. The officers moved on to the next case, right? Now that case might have been assigned to detectives, it might have been closed. A lot of things could have happened with that case, but we weren't necessarily good at letting you know what was happening with that case. And so this Q-Hit system allows us to send you notifications. So let's say that case came in, it's written, it hits the CAD system, and it's assigned to a detective. You will receive an email or a text message that says, on such and such a date, we came to your house, you reported a 459 burglary. Officer Jones took this report. The report has been completed, and your case is now assigned to Detective Smith. Detective Smith can be reached at this phone number. This is his email address should you have any questions or additional information, right? Let's say we write a search warrant and we go out and we collect a bunch of property. You'll receive, if there's another sub written, you'll receive another email says, hey, this more work was done on your case. The detective may be reaching out to you. A search warrant was written. If an arrest was made, and then if that arrest hits the CAD system, you'll receive an information say, Rohnert Park Department of Public Safety has made an arrest in your burglary case. So the system is designed to keep you updated on what's going on with your case, right? Because we don't want you to feel like we took the report and we washed our hands and we moved on. We want you to know that if things are happening. So that's one of the parts of the system. The other part of the system is after we've contacted you, I think we've got it set for the day after, you will get a text and it will say, we contact you on this date. Would you like to take this quick survey? And if you say yes, it'll say, did you contact dispatch? If you say yes, there's a couple of questions. Was the dispatcher responsive? Were they professional? Were they, did they help you with what you needed? And then were you contacted by a public safety officer? Yes. Was the public safety officer professional, respectful? So there's a few questions, and then it gives you a place to, if you wanted to write a little note. We about the last 2 weeks, we've been doing a sample on some theft stuff, and we've started receiving comments back now and surveys. So we're opening it up to different crime codes. There's kind of a quick test on the first ones. We're opening it up. So I just don't want you to be surprised if you get a text message from the Department of Public Safety asking you to tell us how we did, or getting a text message telling you what's going on with your case. I'm excited about it because I think it's a great way for us to stay engaged with people that we're coming in contact with. And I'm hoping people will give us feedback too. Let us know. Hey, are we doing it? Are we doing the job? Are we doing it right? If not, let us know. Those positive comments that come out, we put those on a board in the briefing room. And so if the officer's name's in there, it'll say Officer Jones was great. They were so polite, professional, and helped me. If not, it's just say, oh, the officer that came out did a great job and was so patient. The comments that come in that aren't so pleasurable, that an officer may not want up on the board, they don't get lost. Those we take those comments and we communicate right with the officer if we know who it is, and just say, hey, I'm not sure what happened on that case, but this is how you came across. So you might want to think about it. This is the feedback we're getting. So this system should really, again, help us to get better and improve and provide great service to the community. So if you get it, don't be surprised. Don't say, what, the Chief's lost his mind, I don't have time to do this. Just take that quick survey. I've done it just to check it. It's even me, someone who's technologically horrible on a cell phone, could do it in about 3 minutes. So And then one of the things that we wanted to talk about tonight is we had a lot of interest about a CERT team, community emergency response team. And people kept asking, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? And we're like, yes, we will. We will. And so we are doing it. And Lieutenant Nix was put in charge of, hey, let's do some CERT training. And so he's ready to go. And I'm going to let him talk about the CERT team and what's going on and what he needs to be successful. So when you're done, when we get off this, I need you to each call one person and tell them to go apply so we can get this thing going. So Jeff, I'm going to turn it over to you. And let you talk about the CERT team. Thanks,
Chief. My experience with the CERT team began in Sonoma State, and we were able to develop a program called DART, and which is the same thing. It's just a different acronym. And there it was Disaster Assistance Response Team. And so I was fortunate enough to go back to the FEMA headquarters in Emmitsburg, Maryland, and did a train the trainer class. Involving CERT and the value of the value that it could bring to the community. And so I know about 15 years ago, we had done a couple CERT classes, training classes in our community. And I think they were a great success then. Then we kind of lost some momentum. But we're based on public, outcry where we're starting it up again. We have a CERT training, which is a 10-week program, and it's going to be on Wednesday evenings from 6 p.m. It's going to be very similar to our civilian academy that we put on, and oftentimes during the evening classes they'll be hosted here at Public Safety, or they could be over at the community center. Depending on what we're doing that particular night and how those specific venues will best suit our training. And then we end up culminating on the last Saturday, and that'll be a 9 to 3 p.m. It'll be a full day of an exercise, and basically we're culminating all of the things that we learned throughout the entire CERT training. And so the CERT training kind of, let me outline it for you. And really the first meeting or two meetings, we really get into the team, aspect. And so team organization and team building, we really want to focus on that, because working with the individuals, we do it here in our own agency, is we do team building exercises. In fact, we have one coming up in September where sergeants and our command staff are doing a team building class, 3-day retreat. And so like that with our community is super important, learning how to work with individuals and that may come from different backgrounds, and how do we work with them and put our trust in them, especially during a disaster type situation. And then we go into disaster medical operations, and it's very basic first aid, and a lot of it is learning how to triage somebody, and triage comes from the word to sort. And so really we come across a disaster situation, and now how do we sort out who needs to be treated first, and who can be delayed, or who we don't have to waste our time on somebody that's maybe deceased. And so we learn how to identify those individuals, and then treat them for their potential injuries that they have. And then one of the funnest blocks of instruction is the fire safety, and we actually do some fire extinguisher training, and we actually put out live fire, which is kind of fun. And then we learned some of the basics that would help us, in the event of an emergency or disaster, and that's identifying those gas and electric shutoffs, and just being comfortable with and recognizing those things, and again being comfortable with shutting those things down. And then the next one is light search and rescue. And that's using things in our own home that would help us be able to a rescue if we have to, if someone's pinned and they can't get out. And there's a method and a reason behind us teaching this class, and I'll go over that here in just a second. And then at the very end on that Saturday, we have a culmination. So we implement all these aspects, different aspects of the CERT training into one day of a major exercise, and where we will put the participants through basically a disaster scenario, and they have to use skills that they learned in the disaster medical operations and fire safety and light search and rescue, and while team organization skills. And so it really is a opportunity members to come together to learn these skills and then to exercise them at the end. Why is this important? Why do we feel like this is a need in our community? Well, it's been said, and kind of the rule of thumb in disaster management is during the first 72 hours of a major incident. So let's just use earthquake as an example, because it's kind of the all-encompassing disaster. And we're right here on the Rogers Creek fault line, and we're very close to that. And so it's something that it's a probability that we will be involved with that earthquake scenario. And so 72 hours is a long time before emergency personnel outside of our area can come and to help out. We only have a certain amount of personnel that are going to be going to these throughout our city. And so I wish we had the volume of personnel and equipment that it could accommodate every person's emergency or every person's disaster in the city, but we just don't have the resources to do that. So that brings the value of the CERT team concept to the forefront. We need our community to be involved and to be schooled on all these different aspects to help you help your families, and to help you to help your neighbors. And with this opportunity to come together as a community and to learn together, that hey, my neighbor has the same training, or my family has the same training. We are, we can, we're going to survive this. And so anything extra that we can put in our backpack full of things that we know is certainly going to be a great asset to our community, as well. As the Department of Public Safety. I mean, knowing that we have community members out there that have some training, we can rely on you as well. So what this looks like right now, and this training is free. We haven't put a price tag on this. This is training that we feel is important and necessary for our community members, and so it's free to all Rohnert Park residents. And we are looking for people to sign up on the community services website. If you go to rpcity.org into community services and you pull up their link, there's a link there that'll say something to the effect of current classes available or current programs, and you'll find CERT in that drop down. You could register through the community services website. Right now, we currently have 5 people that have signed up. We need a minimum of 20 people in our class to make it go. We have a start date right now of September 7th, and our Wednesday night trainings, and it goes through September, October, the first Wednesday in November, and then November 12th is our culmination exercise. I encourage all of our community members that are listening to sign up, to contact their friends and neighbors and have them sign up. And so we can put this on. If we don't get the 20 people, we are not going to cancel the idea of our CERT program, but we will postpone it until we get the numbers, and then we will certainly put it on when we get the minimum number of 20 in the class. But we have, several members of our staff that are going to help with the training, and these are experts in the field. And I mean, it gives us an opportunity to work alongside of our community, and our community members an opportunity to work alongside us, and get a kind of a perspective of what we do. But this training really isn't for us. This is for the community, and it gives us an opportunity to help educate, you all out there, and it's really a great way to bring us all together and provide a great asset for us. And then at the very end, everyone that attends our training gets a Cert Backpack, and it's filled with a bunch of emergency preparedness supplies. And so it's a great start to get in your 72-hour kit that you may have already. It's a great addition to that. But it's some equipment that you can use during the event that we have to, whether it's training or, heaven forbid, an actual event that we are put through. So with that said, Chief, I think that as much encouragement as we can get out into the community to sign up, I think it would be a great opportunity for everybody. And I don't really have a cap on how many we want to cap it at, but I think the more the merrier. We can get more backpacks if we need to get more backpacks. So sign up, and because we'll probably make a decision at the end of this month whether we need to postpone it or not. But we're raring to go and ready for the opportunity. So sign up.
Great, Jeff, thank you. And I know that I've talked before about the CERT team, and it's we're looking at more than just disasters too. In agencies that I've worked in the past, we've used our CERT team to help find missing adults with dementia or Alzheimer's who have gone. It gives we have more people searching out there. We've used them to find missing children. We use them at events where we need traffic control, or at major collisions where we need traffic control. So we're not going to train you and then just have you sit waiting for an earthquake. CERT teams are very valuable in so many other ways. And then one other thing, there's a comment that came in and said, "Thank you for sharing this. It's a great opportunity to be of assistance to all of my Latino community and reduce language barriers during a disaster." And we didn't really make that point, but we talked already about this diverse community and the different diverse groups within our community. And this CERT team needs to be just as diverse, because the person who commented here is absolutely right. We need people who can help us communicate and with the different languages and understanding. So please reach out to people, and let's not only get the CERT team going, but let's have a diverse community, based CERT team. I think that's a great idea.
And Chief, with that in mind, I was kind of pre-planning, and each of the participants are going to get a training manual. I have these in both Spanish and English. So we welcome the diversity and know the importance of reaching out to every community member, regardless of who you are, what language you speak. We want you, and we'll embrace it. And I think it'll be a great opportunity for us all to get together. So
perfect. Yep. I had another comment. Someone just said ride-alongs ? And I'm gonna figure that because we get asked about ride-alongs every week, someone wants to know if we're doing them. I know that a lot of the CDC restrictions have been lifted, and so we do want to get our ride-alongs back going. The thing I just want to make sure that if someone's going to come in for a ride-along, I want to make sure that they get tested, or there's a test, or we've got some proof that they're not, sick when they get in there. So we are working on to just figure out how to best do that, and we will be getting ride-alongs going. We value the ride-alongs, and we know it's a great way to connect with the community. So yes, we are getting our ride-along system back. It'll be ready probably in a couple weeks. And then based on, I believe this is based on the QHIT, the feedback app that we have. Someone wants to know who will review that feedback, me or a third party. So one of the 9 recommendations that we took to City Council back in August was to have a independent police auditor come in and look at our complaints and make sure we're doing those right, and we're adjudicating them, and we're investigating them as our policy says. So that's kind of who's going to make sure that we're doing it. This format is not a complaint based type format. It's so we can connect with the community. So they will come in, and me and my command staff will see them. And it gives us opportunity. If we're seeing a trend, we can address it, but these won't be reviewed by an outside third party. If something comes in and someone writes something that is a complaint, we will pull that out, and we'll send it through the right channels. But this isn't meant to be a complaint based program. It's meant just to get feedback from our community. So thanks for the question, and I hope that clarifies it. You answered my question too. I wrote down here equipment and costs, and just as I was writing it, you were answering the questions, Jeff. So you were reading my mind there. Again, I'm going to encourage people to go on and look at that community roundtable, see if it's something that they're interested in, or if somebody who says, I have a lot of people who come to me about concerns or about this or that, and I just don't have, I have no way to pass those on. Well, now you do. If it has to do with the public safety department, now you do. So don't hesitate to go on there and fill out an application. Again, back to school, drive careful, take a little bit more time. All right, we want to make sure that all the kids are safe. They get to where they're going safely. Don't be surprised if you get something from us saying, hey, how'd we do? That's our QHIT. And then, as Lieutenant Nix said, get out there and sign up for CERT. We finally brought back the academy for our community academy. And, people that signed up, I talked to a few, they said, yeah, I wasn't sure. And I haven't talked to one that didn't say that was a great experience. I'm so glad I did it. So if you're thinking, it might not be fun or might not be for me, hey, just come out and give it a try, sign up, get out here, be part of this, be part of our CERT team, and get that training. And the great thing about it is CERT is in every state in the nation. So if you leave or you go somewhere else, you can take your training with you and be part of there. So more people we can get trained, the better. Because you might be the one that saves a life. So it's a pretty powerful thing. I'm going to close here. So Jeff, any closing remarks?
Are you sure?
You can hear the hesitancy in my voice.
Chief, I just want to say thanks for having me and for letting me share a little bit about CERT, and I couldn't be happier than being a part of this department and being a part of the DPS family and being a part of the community. It really, it sounds like we're being corny when we talk about how much we love it here, but a lot of us have been here, or several of us have been here a long time, and we love it here, and the community really embraces us, and which not every community has that luxury, and but they also hold us to task too, and so I appreciate that. But if I'll say it, if anybody needs anything or any questions asked, if you can't get a hold of the chief, please, you can reach out to myself or the other patrol lieutenant, and we're happy to address any of your concerns. And those don't have to be negative concerns; they can be positive things as well. So, but thank you everybody for listening tonight.
All right. I am going to, there's one question coming in. Kindly, what is the status with the homeless encampment? Is the number of people growing? I feel for the businesses near there. We continue to say that we are working hard to address those issues. The Labatt Landing is going up quick. We're hoping that can help with that. We do know that there are people coming and going in that encampment. We have our cops team pretty much working full time on the unsheltered. And we're working right now to try to address some of the impacts that are taking place at our businesses. And I was out yesterday contacting individuals who were loitering around businesses and moving them along, but it's a daily job. We have a lot of staff dedicated to it. And we are doing everything we can within the confines of the law. So if you have ideas, let us know, because we're every day we're trying to figure out a way to address it. So Jeff, thank you for coming on. Jill, any closing? You always have some words of wisdom.
Nothing that I can think of at the moment. Just secure your tools if you have a work truck, and try to reduce your risk on that. We're seeing some of that kind of pick up. So on the crime prevention side, that would be one thing that I'd like to say to everybody. We don't want to see this starting to pick up again. So
Absolutely, yeah. The break-in and the tools, the trucks with the work trucks is we're seeing an increase. So yeah, thank you for that. And then Lupe, always thank you. You do an amazing service and a job up there for us. So I appreciate it. Lupe actually gets off at 5 o'clock on chat. She stays the hour and then stays the hour for the chat, and never complains. Always has a smile. So thank you. And with that, we will say good night, and we'll see you the first Tuesday in September. Bye-bye.
goodbye, everyone.
Good night.